And then the Shaykh rahimahullah, he says, وَهَذِهِ أَعْظَمُ مَسْأَلَةِ خَالَفَهُمْ فِيهَا رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. This is the greatest of matters that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam opposed them in. Yani the matter of ash-shirku billah. This is the greatest of all the matters. They had many evils, the people of Jaahiliyyah. But what is the matter that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam opposed them greater? That is ash-shirku billah. The first thing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called them to at-tawheed. The first thing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited them ash-shirk. فأتى بالإخلاص وأخبر أنه دين الله الذي أرسل به جميع الرسل وأنه لا يقبل من الأعمال إلا الخالص. And then the Shaykh Rahimahullah says, so he sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought sincerity, al-ikhlas. What does it mean? It means the worship, what you are doing, should be only for the sake of Allah alone. You were worshipping Allah, along with that you are worshipping someone else or something else. So here you have to worship Allah alone. And he informed that it was the religion of Allah, it was the deen of Allah, which all the messengers were sent with. You know, the messengers whom you are agreeing with, Isa alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, they were also sent with the same message. The message of Tawheed, the message of abolition of shirk. أَنِعْبُدُ اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُ الطَّاغُوتِ. All the messengers were sent with the same message. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he reminded the Yahud wal Nasara wal Mushrikeen of Makkah that this was the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam. This is the religion of Isa alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. They did not come with any new or separate religion. They came with the same religion. وَأَخْبَرَ. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed them that no deeds are accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا يقبل من الأعمال إلا الخالص. Except it is done purely for the sake of Allah alone. Now why do we say that even though the mushrikeen of Makkah, they were worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their worship is not accepted? Why? Why would we say that? Because their worship was not khalis for the sake of Allah. Along with the worshipping of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they used to worship something else. Then how would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept that? Because in order for a ibadah to be accepted, it needs two conditions to be fulfilled. What are the two conditions? The first condition, shurutu qabul al-amal al-ikhlas, that it must be purely for the sake of Allah and for Allah. If you're praying salah, it should be for Allah and for the sake of Allah. If you're fasting, it should be for Allah and for the sake of Allah. If you're giving sadaqah, it should be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ikhlas is important. If you're worshipping, then your worship purely should be for the sake of Allah. Your dua should be for the sake of Allah, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anything is mixed, then it is not considered as tawheed. And this ibadah will not be accepted, brothers and sisters. And the second condition is al-mutaba'ah. Al-mutaba'ah to sunnati Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. In order for your ibadah is to be accepted, you have to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It is not that you do any kind of worship. What you feel that I need to do this worship. I need to say La ilaha illallah 1000 times. Why? Of course it can be said, but if you are choosing any specific time for that, if you are choosing any specific occasion for that, or if you're specifying the number, this is good or 1000 times is better, then you need a dalil for that. If there is no dalil, then it will not be accepted, because you're not following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us how to do the ibadah. So if anything what you brought which is not from al-Islam, which is not from the deen of Allah and His Rasul, then your amal will not be accepted. And if it is not with ikhlas, your amal will not be accepted. This is very important, brothers. So that is the reason the Shaykh Rahimahullah, he says that your ibadah is not accepted because it was not purely or sincerely done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed that whoever does what these mushrikeen of Makkah, the people of Jaahiliyyah, are doing, if they approve this, man fa'ala mastahsanu, whoever sees this as something good thing, faqad harrama Allahu alayhi al-jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He prohibits Jannah for him. وَمَأْوَاهُ النَّارِ. And his destination will be the hellfire. The only sin, brothers and sisters, that will take a person to the hellfire forever and ever and ever, that is ashirku billah. There is no sin in the face of the earth that will make you permanent in the hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us all. The only sin that will make his place permanent in the hellfire is shirk. That is the reason this is the most severe, this is the most dangerous of all. Unless and until a person repents and turns back to Tawheed, he will be in the hellfire. وهذه هي المسألة التي تفرق الناس لأجلها بين مسلم وكافر. And this is the mas'ala, or this is the matter, due to this aspect, that the mankind becomes divided into Muslims and disbelievers. You see, in the dunya there are only two kind of people. You are either a mu'min or a kafir. You are either a believer or a disbeliever. Whether you are a Jew or a Christian or a Buddhist or a Sikhist, it doesn't matter. If you are not a believer, you are a disbeliever, whoever you are. Right? So this matter of iman, this is what brings the difference between the human beings. And then the Shaykh rahimahullah, he says, وَعِنْدَهَا وَقَعَتِ الْعَدَاوَةِ. And this is the reason why there is enmity. Why the disbelievers hate us? Because we believe in Allah. And why we hate them? Because they disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They disbelieve in Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They mock Allah and His Rasul. They make fun of Allah and His Rasul. And they does worst of injustice. And for this reason, shuri'a al-jihad kama qala ta'ala. And for this reason, the jihad was legislated, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَاتِلُوهُمْ حَتَّى لَا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةً. And fight them, fight the disbelievers, until there is no more fitna. There is no more fitna, yani there is no more shirk, there is no more evil, there is no more disbelief. وَيَكُونَ الدِّينُ كُلُّهُ لِلَّهِ. And the religion becomes solely or purely all for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. So brothers and sisters, the Shaykh rahimahullah is saying here that one of the reasons why the jihad is legislated is to remove the shirk from the face of the earth. We advise, we call the people to Islam, we do the da'wah. But when we do the da'wah, what happens? When we call people to Islam, what happens? People will oppose us. People will try to fight us. People will try to destroy us. That is the moment, or that is when we try to defend us, and that is when we try to safeguard our wealth, our health, our life, and our main and mostly our deen. And also Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to send the people, the soldiers, the commanders to different parts of the world, calling the kings, the rulers to Islam. If they oppose and they try and they fight back, we fight back. That is al-jihad fi sabilillah. But some people, they have misunderstood. Al-jihad means what? You go and bomb up some place. You go and kill the disbelievers wherever you find. You kill the innocent men, women and children, even though they are disbelievers. It is not permissible for us to go and kill them. This is not jihad. Jihad is when the Muslim ruler, he sends the emissary, he sends the people, calling or inviting the people to Islam. You do da'wah, right? You call people to Islam. So brothers and sisters, Shaykh rahimahullah, he concludes here the first aspect, that the thing that makes distinction between the people is at-tawheed wa shirk. Right? At-tawheed wa shirk. So this is the end of the first aspect. Inshallah, in the next class we will look at the second aspect, Bismillah al-Kareem. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open our breast to understand His deen, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to understand and act upon His deen. Barakallahu feekum. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.